On September 9th, 2014, the East Coast USA map was added to BeamNG alongside Hirochi Raceway. While the East Coast map might not seem to have a thrilling backstory at first glance, there are some interesting references to real-life events that most likely happened in the BeamNG universe as well. Both Hirochi Raceway and the East Coast map are set in Maine and New Hampshire, the northern part of New England. Just like most BeamNG maps, this one also offers a couple of hints to future expansions, which we'll look at later in this video. Let's begin with a brief overview though. As multiple souvenirs and signs show, the town, or rather city, is named Fairwood. Apart from Fairwood, there isn't much to explore except for a tiny fishing village, scattered detached houses, a sawmill, tons of car dealerships and garages, and a fire watchtower. The map is basically one big forest, to be honest. Keep the tower in mind though, as it will become important soon. Back to the city. You can find a lot of Easter eggs and references in various shops and restaurants. Examples include a restaurant called Big Shrimp, a reference to shrimps being a specialty of Maine, the souvenirs I mentioned earlier, and a movie poster, similar to the ones found on the Italy map. Other than that, numerous car dealerships and garages are spread across the entire map. For a map as thinly inhabited as this one, there's a surprising number of car-related businesses. The acknowledgement of some family names is a nice touch too. However, let's be honest, the atmosphere in some areas of this map feels kind of odd. When you enter the swamp, you will most likely notice a flashing light in one of the windows of an abandoned looking house, and just a couple of meters far into the swamp there's a monolith. You can find this on other BeamNG maps too, but all of them slowly but surely started to vanish as the real-life monolith in Utah got removed. Only the monolith here in the swamp still remains in BeamNG. That's not everything creepy though. In earlier versions of this map, you could hear eerie music playing. Alright, enough facts. Let's get into the actual lore. What if I told you that the fire watchtower and the fire department serve a deeper purpose than it seems at first glance? Okay, to understand this, we need to go back in history, real-life history. In 1947, Maine suffered from huge wildfires that destroyed a big part of the state. Now, why would the BeamNG devs add such a detail to the map? I'm quite sure that the importance of the fire department is a reference to those wildfires. Therefore, we now also know the rough location of where the map is located in Maine. This is the part where I would like to move on to some speculation about future expansions or remasters. Unlike the West Coast map, for example, which has construction sites marking the map's borders and indicating the areas where the devs are working on expanding it, the East Coast map has more or less natural borders, making it hard to predict where expansion can happen. However, this map was indeed remastered once in 2019 as of version 0.17. That remaster was together with Hirochi Raceway 2, which makes sense as the map shares many assets. I could imagine that Hirochi Raceway was originally planned to be added to the East Coast map, but that couldn't be realized due to the poor performance. Hopefully, this is something that we will see in future updates, as I would love to have more to do on this map. There's not a hint at an expansion though. The farlands are huge. On most maps, the farlands just exist to give the map a more authentic feeling as they make the borders look more natural. While that's the main reason on East Coast too obviously, there's just no reason for the farlands to be this big. I mean, you can't even see the majority of it from the playable part of the map. So maybe this is because the devs initially planned to add Hirochi Raceway to this map. But even if that was the case, the problem persists. The farlands are just too big. So maybe this map was built with the thought of an expansion in mind, as it's way easier to add new content to a map if you already have the terrain, instead of having to create new terrain and somehow try to connect it smoothly to the existing one. What could an expansion look like though? Well, judging by the position of the map, we can roughly guess the dimension of the farlands. So for the highly unrealistic case that everything from the current farlands gets used, we could probably get a BeamNG equivalent to Boston or even New York City. This is pure speculation though, and is very unlikely as it would be absolutely impossible to run for most computers, and the sheer scale of that map would be unplayable already just because of a floating point error. But who knows, maybe devs will find a way around it. By the way, if you're wondering why your graphics look like this and not like this, although you're using ultra graphics, That's because I've been using the ECUSA Improved mod throughout this entire video. It doesn't add any content, but it transforms the map into looking awesome. Even though we probably won't have such graphics or ambitious expansion in a vanilla game anytime soon, the map is an off-roading paradise with an interesting backstory. Thank you for watching this video and see ya next time.